On March 16, 2025, Adam Salazar presented a program on the Choctaw gift to the Irish. Join Red River Unitarian Universalist followers in enjoying this service. Welcome from Red River Unitarian Universalist. Thank you for joining us. The religion we practice in this church is centered in the here and now, rather than the hereafter. It is more of a thinking kind of religion than a believing kind. It is governed more by reason than by tradition, more concerned with the present than the past. It is concerned with getting the most out of life, with living wisely and well. A major aim for us is continually expanding our understanding of life and ourselves. This church is a community of people who share in the free and open search for a level of understanding that will enable us to be more fully and effectively alive. The church does not tell us what we must believe. It stimulates us to think. It supports us in our search. You are welcome to join us. Our centering value is love, with transformation, generosity, equity, interdependence, justice, and pluralism.
It is a wonder and mystery that our paths have crossed, that in the immensity of time, in the vastness of space, we coincide here. I am in awe at the ways in which our lives intersect and intertwine, at the beauty we create together when we gather. May our coming together make us more compassionate, more just, more caring, and more loving. May our hearts and minds be open to this offering. I am so glad you are here. Let us worship, let us marvel at the miracle of being here right now and the mystery that has brought us together. As is our custom, if you'd like to come and light a candle for a joy, a challenge, or just to bring more light into this room, please do so while we sit in stillness listening to the prelude. The candles are at the back. Please rise and body your spirit for our chalice lighting and spoken affirmation. To light our chalice today, we use the words of Katie Savani Gelfand, the abundance of our lives together. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. Join me as together we remind ourselves of the affirmation that is a cornerstone of our free faith tradition. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in freedom, and to help one another. We light this peace candle to remind us all of the places in the world where there is no peace. Join me in the words now on the screen. Lead me from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead me from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead me from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, our universe. You may be seated. We will now have a stewardship moment with Jim. Sorry, Jim.
That's okay. Hello, I'm Jim for the new people that are here. And every year about this time, we start our stewardship campaign to get pledges to help us determine how we're going to spend our money for the next budget year. Our budget year starts July 1st. And the finance team gets together, looks at how we're doing this year, and projects what we think our expenses will be next year. The finance team has recommended a budget of $51,500, which will require $48,000 in pledge money. And right now we're about 26%, so we're not doing too bad. I know many of you like to wait to the last minute. It causes a tremendous amount of anxiety with the finance team and the board. So if you enjoy that, I know you'll continue to do that, but please don't. So the reason I pledge is, first of all, to keep this building open so I can enjoy Sundays and other days with my friends. The largest budget item is facilities. Just keep this building going and the expenses that are associated with it. The other reason I pledge is to give money to the worship team so we can have these great Sunday services that the worship team and Marla put together. That's our second largest budget item. And the other reason I pledge is so that some of my money will go to outreach into the community, which unfortunately isn't as big as we would like. But if we have an excess in a particular year, the board usually puts that money into additional outreach. And that's what we would really like to be doing. So hopefully everyone here has a reason why they would like to pledge. Just to let you know, $51,500 is $142 a day to run the church. So think about how many days you'd like to help the church run. And that's it. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks again, Jim. Opening Words for Giving Thanks and Exploring Suffering by Mike Johnson. It is always good to give thanks. All that we have is a gift from life, our food, our relationships, our shelter from the cold. And when we give thanks, it is always good to be mindful of all people and notice those who are suffering and do what we can to ease suffering and change its causes. Today we give thanks and we explore suffering. We must always do both together so that our hearts are strong for the journey.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, yeah, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we shield the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. Then our heart is in a holy place. Then our heart is in a holy place.
Our first reading is an excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. It is called Surviving Through Reciprocity by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Scientists are interested in how the marriage of alga and fungus occurs, and so they've tried to identify the factors that induce two species to live as one. But when researchers put the two together in the laboratory and provide them with the ideal conditions for both alga and fungus, they gave each other the cold shoulder and proceeded to live separate lives in the same culture dish like the most platonic of roommates. The scientists were puzzled and began to tinker with the habitat, altering one factor and then another, but still no lichen. It was only when they severely curtailed the resources, when they created harsh and stressful conditions, that the two would turn toward each other and began to cooperate. Only with severe need did the hyphae curl around the alga. Only when the alga was stressed did it welcome the advances. When times are easy and there's plenty to go around, an individual species can go it alone. But when conditions are harsh and life is tenuous, it takes a team sworn to reciprocity to keep life going forward. In a world of scarcity, interconnection and mutual aid become critical for survival. So say the lichens. Join now for our time of practices with words, stillness, and music. Our words are from Unity Devotion by Kelly Murphy Mason. In the unity of the Spirit, in the sanctity of this gathering, let us quiet ourselves as we settle into a meditative moment, a time when we can listen to that still, small voice within. All our souls speak to us. If we trust ourselves to hear them, what do they tell us this day, in this very season? Whether our innermost yearnings find voice in a sincere intention, a prayer, a scripture, a profound lament, or sudden insight, we honor those. We stay present to the wisdom that arises within. We welcome whatever arrives, be it bidden or unbidden. We find rest in our calm center, that secure core of our being, which houses our surest sense of the holy. We allow ourselves to know consolation. We grow mindful, ever mindful, not only of ourselves, but also of those dear to us, those here in our midst, those absent today, those held close in memory, those in distant places. Feeling ourselves enfolded in loving kindness that is everywhere, abiding, together we enter now into sacred silence. Emerging from the silence, we see that we are together still. We notice the gratitude we feel in our hearts today. We do not fail to rejoice. We are blessed by this present company and this special time we have set aside for our devotion. We give thanks, O God of many names, and beyond all of our naming, source of our being, sustainer of our becoming, undying light, infinite peace, eternal good. For this moment of respite and for every tender mercy we have known in our lives and through the ages. In this we all speak now, saying, Amen. Amen. Our second reading is Gratitude by Swiftwalker. Let's start with the people we love and those who love us. Thankful they are in our lives, obliging us to open our hearts. Let open hearts embrace the earth, the sea and soil and stars, blessed by bold beauty, the bounty of being. Then with hearts open to beauty, let us embrace the arts and the generation of learning that we should have wisdom. Let what wisdom we have, wan and wanting, lead us to strive so the seventh generation hence can live more fully. It is in that work and that alone that we can express our thankful spirit. May we make it so. For the opening to make it so, let us be truly grateful. Amen. Salazar from the Choctaw Nation is again our guest speaker. On this day before St. Patrick's Day, he will be sharing about the Choctaw gift to the Irish and the bond it created. Welcome back, Adam. Don't forget to turn on your thing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Salazar. I'm with the Choctaw Nation Historic Preservation Department. We're housed at the Choctaw Cultural Center in Durant, Oklahoma. I'm part of the Engage and Outreach program. So what I do, I go out to like churches or community centers and schools, and I give presentations over Choctaw culture and history. So today, I'm here to speak a little bit about the Choctaw gift, give y'all a little information, the Choctaw gift to the Irish. So I think this is important because most history books don't talk too much about the Irish famine or the Native American treaties. So I'm here to share a little bit of information. So in 1847, over 175 years ago, the Choctaw people donated money to the Irish people who were suffering from a potato famine. It's because of this donation that a friendship and a bond was formed. Even though we were separated by thousands of miles and on different sides of the Atlantic Ocean, we endured similar struggles and misfortunes. Here's a few topics I'm going to be going over. It is the Ireland background, the Choctaw background, the Choctaw Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek, the potato famine itself, a meeting in Scullyville, paying it forward, and the Choctaw and Irish scholarship, and some monuments. Before the potato famine, Irish people were already living in harsh conditions. Since the conquest of the island in 15 and 1600s, Ireland has been ruled by Britain. Without getting too deep into Ireland history, in 1798, some Irishmen felt compelled to push back and rebel. This rebellion lasted around 5 months, but the deaths ran into the tens of thousands. The political aftermath of this was the most life-changing part of it all. The British government was forced to tighten its grip, and under the Act of Union in 1801, Ireland was brought fully under British rule. Most of Ireland's landmass belonged to a small group of mainly Protestant landowners who were loyal to the United Kingdom. They supplied members of the parliament, and because of this, they somewhat acted as the local authorities. They forced harsh criminal laws on most Irish people. The laws were meant to force Catholics to convert to Protestantism and weaken native Irish people, erasing much of Ireland's culture. The Irish Catholics at the time were treated with prejudice and thought to be the lowest of the low. Decades later, in the 1830s and 1840s, the Industrial Revolution was steady in Britain and would later spread into the rest of the world. Advanced farming techniques and population growth pushed many to leave the countryside and make new lives in the cities. Since farming in Ireland was not updated, it forced millions of resident farmers and landless laborers to work the fields. The resident farmers would rent small farms from the land-owning elite, while the landless laborers would work for no wages, but instead for the permission to occupy a rough piece of land to live. Ireland's agriculture was dangerously uncertain. Most of their food production, the grain and livestock, was exported to Britain and didn't leave a lot of available farmland for Ireland. Tenant farmers and laborers used what little space they had to grow potatoes. So although both farmers and laborers had no money, they had one thing they could rely on, which was the heavily nutritious potato. So while Ireland was going through their misfortunes, the Choctaws were dealing with difficulties as well. After European contact, Choctaws began relying heavily on European-made goods. Unfortunately, this reliance on their goods also led to debt. Choctaws began entering treaties with the United States that consisted of land cessions to pay these debts. From 1786 to 1830, the Choctaw people signed 9 treaties with the United States. These treaties were said to bring peace and friendship between the two nations, but they always heavily favored the United States and shortchanged the native people. The Treaty of Hopewell was the first, and it is an important treaty because it identified our tribe as a nation, but it came at a cost. Although we were granted protection from outsiders, land boundaries were created. With each treaty signed, Choctaw homeland became smaller and smaller, impacting our traditional ways of life. The Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek was the last treaty to be signed and would ultimately start the Trail of Tears, or the Trail of Tears of Death, coined by a Choctaw chief. The Choctaw people were forced to sign the treaty when threatened by the United States that they would break existing treaties and commit genocide against them. Forced removals from Mississippi to Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma, began in 1830. Approximately 15,000 Choctaw people traveled the trail, mostly on foot. Without sufficient supplies promised by the U.S. government, they faced hunger, freezing temperatures, and disease. Around 4,000 Choctaws died, which was a quarter of the people. The Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek became the largest land cession treaty signed to date by the U.S. government and was the first removal treaty put into effect under the Indian Removal Act. The potato famine, which was the cause of the gift, it was also known as the Great Famine, was a starvation period that lasted 7 years, from 1845 to 1852. The potato was a staple food of the poor in Ireland, and almost a third of Ireland's population relied on the potato as its primary source. The ultimate cause of the famine was a destructive fungus causing potato blight. This disease was spread rapidly throughout Ireland. During the first year of the famine, the infection ruined one half of the potato crops and about three quarters of the crops the following years. Britain helped import corn into Ireland, but the corn was poorly distributed and offered insufficient nutrition. Throughout the entire famine, the British continued to export Ireland's grain and livestock. Before it ended, roughly 1 million Irish people died from starvation or related causes, and at least another million were forced to leave their homeland as refugees. Since the famine was caused by blight, some thought it was God's will and that the famine was not an accident, so a lot of people just sat around and watched them suffer. The Quakers, which is a Christian society of friends, had a profound impact. There were roughly 3,000 Quakers that took an active role in setting up soup kitchens across Ireland. Back in the United States, while this was going on, a meeting was held in Scullyville, Oklahoma. Scullyville is the home of the first Choctaw agency in the West and was established with the U.S. agent Major W. Armstrong. There were 3 districts in the Choctaw Nation, with Scullyville being the capital. Originally, the town was the place where annuity payments was collected, and the Choctaw word for money is Scully, so hence the name Scullyville. On March 23rd, 1847, the meeting was held, and in attendance were tribal members, agency officials, missionaries, and traders. U.S. agent Major Armstrong of the Choctaw Nation took the floor to speak and told everyone about the event taking place on the far side of the Atlantic and of no obvious interest to the Choctaw people, the Great Famine in Ireland. After learning of the Irish famine, Choctaw families went home to discuss it, and with great empathy, they came up with $170 for the relief of the Irish poor. Some historians, they defer to the exact amount, but the specific amount is not what matters. Again, I'd like to say that the donation came 14 years after the just walking the Trail of Tears. Paying it forward, fast forward today, in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic caused disruptions around the world. The death toll was particularly severe in the Navajo and Hopi nations. The Navajo and Hopi volunteers started an online fundraising campaign for help on their reservations. Without hesitation, the Irish people responded with generosity and compassion. The Irish raised over $2 million for the 2 nations so they could protect themselves with clean water, food, and health supplies. The picture on the left is the Prime Minister of Ireland with the chief of Choctaw Nation. These are a few quotes that I found. If I can read it to you. The chief said in a statement that the tribe was gratified and perhaps not all surprised to learn of the assistance of our special friends, the Irish, that they were given to the Navajo and Hopi nations. The picture on the right is the picture of the president of Ireland. I found this quote in the book, and it just stuck out to me. He says, the most vulnerable people on our fragile planet require us to stand in solidarity with them and to speak in unity for a better and more secure world. They deserve no less. Until this day, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma and the Republic of Ireland continue to prosper separately and together as allies. In 2018, the Choctaw Ireland Scholarship was announced, a program paid by the Republic of Ireland for a Choctaw student. The Choctaw Ireland Scholarship, to be eligible, you must be a member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. You must be interested in a one-year taught master's degree, be accepted into the University of College Cork in Ireland, interested in a degree from the College of Arts, Celtic Studies, and Social Studies at UCC, and you must have a valid passport. I just think that's a lovely picture of the building. That's a beautiful picture. Here's a picture of a few of the previous attendees. With the acceptance of the 2024 recipients, the Choctaw Ireland Scholarship Program will have allowed 10 students across the higher education access to higher education and a life-changing experience since it was founded. Again, in most history books, the Irish potato famine and Native American treaties doesn't get much attention. Choctaw people and Irish people endured similar struggles such as colonization and forced removal off homelands. Our ancient tongues almost became extinct, and both were made to feel inferior. We were victims of a conquest that led to loss of property, culture, and countless lives. But on a more positive note, both remain resilient in the face of all this. Today, there are a few beautiful sculptures honoring the relationship between the Choctaw Nation and the people of Ireland. This is on the cover of the program right here. So this is Kindred Spirits. It's sculpted by Alex Pentek and is in Middleton, County Cork, Ireland. Pentek refers to the shape of a food bowl to symbolize the famine, the Irish famine, and also in Choctaw tradition, especially the tribe's belief in feeding and giving. It's 9 eagle feathers standing about 20 feet tall, stainless steel, and the sculpture was dedicated in 2017. The gift, this is actually inside the Choctaw Cultural Center. It's a sculpture by Brandon O'Neill. It celebrates the 1847 donation to the Irish people. The elderly woman symbolizing Choctaw matriarchal society, and the man embracing her in support and protection reach out a hand of friendship to the Irish, while the eating bowl provides food and nourishment. Eternal Hearts, this one's at our state capitol in Tuskahoma, Oklahoma. This was put up and revealed this last 2024, this year in August at the Labor Day Festival. But the sculpture was jointly funded by the government of Ireland and then the Choctaw Nation and was built on the Capitol grounds in Tuskahoma. It's 8 feet tall, combines the Celtic Trinity shape and intertwined with the heart, and is specifically placed facing toward Ireland. It is a Celtic knot work style, said the artist, and it has a Trinity and incorporates a heart in it. It has no beginning and end, and that's where we get the eternal heart. That's all I have right now. I appreciate y'all allowing me to come here and speak. I look forward to hanging out afterwards, so if y'all have any questions, I'll be here and to hang out with y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to come and speak with y'all. So I'll be here, and thank y'all again. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Technology's taking over. Thank you, Adam. I enjoyed that a lot, just like I did the last time you spoke. We appreciate it. Now is the time for giving. Remember that every offering is a Share the Bowl offering, where undesignated cash is given to the charities we support. The bowl awaits, or you may donate online. I'm just up on point today.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine.
I invite you to rise and body your spirit for the benediction and extinguishing the chalice. In benediction from Charles A. Howe, we hear these words, "May we go forth from this place. May we go forth from this place thankful for the life that sustains and renews us, and open to the grace that surrounds and surprises us. May we go forth from this place with openness and with thanksgiving." Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish these flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, return in love. I didn't practice it. You what? No, she updated it. I practiced it like 4 or 5 days ago.